100%. What did you actually do to him, allegedly?
I was yoking him out. I was choking him out, and then the other dudes grabbed me. They beat the shit out of me. But before they ended, the other dudes came in and had me up. I was basically yoking him out.
So the cops run in on you, they're beating on you, punching you, kicking you. Tell the people what it's like in federal prison.
God, yo, I will say this, bro. In Pennsylvania prison, yo, the COs don't play, bro. They'll kill you, bro. I've heard stories and I've seen them do it, bro. They'll literally cuff you up and kick you down a flight of stairs, bro. I had it happen to me in USP Canaan, bro. They cuffed me up. A lieutenant, bro. A 6'8" lieutenant cuffed me up.
So I know, Sal, you're actually in Fort Dix, right? I've heard a lot of stuff about that place. I had some homeboys over there. They said that they would go in people's cells with bags and be like, hey, there's a 12-man room, 12 Choskis over there, and they make them put one item in the bag. What was it like for you when you were at Fort Dix?
Yeah, they really used to abuse the shit out of those guys. Like, luckily, like, you might luck out sometimes and end up in like a paperwork room where there's no tromos, but there's so many of them on that compound that the rooms that they're in, they basically get abused. Like, they have to be out of the room all day until 4 o'clock count, you know, because people got phones and shit, like stuff around. They don't even want them seeing nothing. And they basically got to clean the room every day. They're not allowed in the TV rooms. They're not allowed to watch TV, none of that. So yeah, they basically abused them in the lows, well, the lows that I was at.
So pretty much these guys that, you know, when we say Choski, people know what we're saying, can't say certain words on here. But these guys, they end up pretty much just getting abused. They make them clean the room. They can't go. Do they keep them out of the room all day, make them go outside, stuff like that?
Yeah, like they're not allowed to be in the room. Like they got to be out somewhere. A lot of them go to like the law library or like in Fort Dix, in one of the buildings, they had like a little area, like a back hall where they used to just sit and congregate and play Dungeons and Dragons or whatever the they used to play over there because they can't watch TV.
Why does it seem like all them dudes play Dungeons and Dragons? Like they're all into fantasy shit.
Yeah, I don't know what the bro. That's just crazy. But you know how it is, and they extort them too. I think there was like one that was getting extorted that had money. But I remember there was one in a good friend of mine's room where he had to go. You know what I mean? They thought he told about some shit, and I was one of the dudes that went in there messed up, and basically we did what we had to do.
When you talk about going in the room, I mean, was this a Cho or a different dude?
This was a Chomo that was in a friend of mine's room, which basically they wanted to get him out of there. So we went in there messed up. Like in Fort Dix, there's no cameras, and there's 12-man rooms. So like, dudes are rat or something. You know what I mean? So they go in there messed up, so you don't know who did it, basically.
So you go in there with a mask and what? You just start putting the beats on these dudes?
Oh, and beats, and I learned the hard way, man, that if you're going to put a lock in a sock, you got to at least double bag it because that shit rips right through the sock.
So when you go in,
the hard way, you know what I mean?
When you go in on this particular dude, right, with the lock, I mean, do you go in there with a lock on the Cho?
Yeah, we went in there with me and another guy with locks and socks and basically blasted him, bro. On the top bunk. It was all black in there. We went in there and I went on one side, you went on the other, and we just blasted him up.
So what happens when you're hitting this dude with a sock, the lock in the sock? What does he do? Is he screaming, running, trying to get away?
Like, and my lock went across the room, and I was scattering on the floor looking for my lock. And then we ran out of there. But yeah, like a good friend of mine was in that room. The dude told about a phone. He told about some shit in the room. They had to get him out of there. And they paid me to do it. Like I would have did it for free for my man, but they basically paid me to get him out of there though.
So you go get the dude out of the room. What's it like for these dudes? You know, do they ever try to like fight back? Are they ever like, you know what, man, we got our own car? Because I know there's some prisons where the Chos actually have their own car. Did these dudes have their own car, try to fight back, try to be like, we're not going for this no more?
I've never seen that, but I'll be honest with you, in Fort Dix, they got the biggest car. Like in the chow hall, they have the most tables. They got like probably at least like 7 or 8 tables in each chow hall. So they're the biggest car.
They're the biggest car, but they don't never fight. They don't ever fight back. They don't never push back like, no, we're going to watch TV today.
Nah, I never seen that, bro. You know what happened in there. Like, people think it's Fort Dix, it's a low, shit don't pop off. Like, don't get me wrong, like, a lot of people, it's sweet. It's, like, super sweet there. A lot of people ain't trying to leave there. but shit pops off. Like I seen a dude get a half his face sliced off. His ear was hanging down. The kid, he's from New York too, but he was a rat. It was known that the kid was a rat, and he was getting the bag. I think he was getting like crystal meth. Like all these white dudes, they got like street drugs in there. All these white dudes are going crazy over that shit. All I know is that they were staying up for days on that shit. I don't know what I never did that shit, but these dudes weren't going to sleep. We were playing cards all night. It's like the street, bro. We'd hang out in one of the what's it called? It used to be called they had like two rooms on the end of each floor that was just like an open room. So we just throw a table in there. We play cards like spades all night, like sitting there smoking like it's legal, bro. Like for real, it's not even like jail.
Not like jail, but let me ask you about when you see the kid get his face ripped open, right? Is that shocking for you to see?
Nah, because I already seen shit like that just growing up, bro. Like I've been through a lot on the street, even before prison. So nah, like something like that, it wasn't really shocking to me, but it definitely stays with you, certain things.
I mean, does it affect you when you lay down at night? You're like, damn, man, I wish I didn't see that.
Nah, not really. But I don't know. I guess when it's people though, like you might be like, damn, they didn't have to do them like that. Like there was a dude. It's crazy I was in MDC fighting my case, and you know what I mean. It's a lot of people from New York. You're in the unit for like a year on in, sometimes a year or two fighting your case. So you make a lot of friendships. Like you meet a lot of people, and like so many people that I was. And one dude used to tell me, because a lot of people pass through there or going back to court or in transit, and dudes used to tell me like, yo, a lot of these dudes is hot. Don't talk about your case with nobody. Like dudes are trying to jump on people's cases, and it was like so many people that you run into other people that you were with as you doing your bid. And I found out that like so many people that I was in that unit with were no good. It's like this one was no good. This one was around. I'm like, no, like I couldn't believe it. And one dude, I was asking you if you knew him and I heard about it. He got stabbed in Big Sandy. He was, this dude Paulie, Paulie Vance, I think his name was Paulie Vance. But they stabbed him like 50 something times, or like 40 something times in Big Sandy. I heard.
So let me ask you this. Like, you hear people talk about big boy prisons all the time. Like this dude got butchered, right? Like 70 times. If you were to see something like that, right? You think that would be devastating to you? I mean, let me tell you this. Like for me, like I've seen stuff like this, right? And in the beginning, it was devastating, but then you become callous to it. But when this dude gets butchered and pretty much they take him out of there and he's no longer breathing, I mean, that's big boy prison right there. You don't think that would affect you?
Yeah, of course. But like you said, you get numb to it. After seeing certain things, it's like you become numb to it.
So you were at where? MCC or MDC, you said?
I was in MDC Brooklyn fighting my case, and then I went to basically FCI Berlin, which is basically like a medium high. It's a disciplinary medium. So there's a lot of people coming down from other pens, working their way down, or a lot of people that got shipped out of other mediums.
I want to talk a little bit about MDC Brooklyn. I spent a few months there myself, I believe back in 2008 in transit, but I was actually there for a few months. I've seen shit pop off there. I mean, there was a lot of bloods over there, a lot of different things going on. What was it like for you in MDC Brooklyn?
Yeah, when I was there, there was two gangs going at it. The Bloods were basically going at it with the MS-13 dudes when I was there. So yeah, like shit was popping off a lot. I remember they beat they beat the cop up in the bubble. They went in there and they like the cop up. But yeah, shit was popping off a lot in MDC. When I had, because I passed through there a couple times. But the last time I passed through there was a lot of shit popping off with the Bloods and the MS-13. And to be honest, too, the unit I was in, a lot of it had to do with the dude, Shoddy, 6'9's dude, co-defendant. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was in the unit right before I left, and the MS dude had the poker table, and he ran up like an $8,000 poker bill on the table, and he was like, "Oh, I ain't paying." Like, you know what I mean? Like he was trying not to pay, so they crashed out. That's really what it was over. The dude was ran up like an $8,000 poker bill or some shit.
This was in your unit?
Yeah, that was in my unit.
I think there was some video out of that, right? They were stabbing each other, hitting each other with broomsticks.
I don't know. I didn't see it, but I know that that's what it started over. Like they started crashing out over that. The MS dudes and the Bloods. It was over that originally.
What are the MS dudes like in there? Are they on some bullshit? Are they on some tough guy shit?
Good relationship with the main dude in that unit, the MS dude. He was from Long Island. He was a young kid too, and this was like his first bid. Like, so he was asking me like a lot of questions about like, you know what I mean, like the prisons and shit. Because you know how it is. I was there too, bro. Like I never did a bid in my life. Like I caught a lot of state charges, but I always, you know, like beat the case. I had a good lawyer, or like got a drop down. So unfortunately, I that was my first bid. So I was that dude, like asking all the guys passing through, like, you know, what is it like? I couldn't wait to get to my prison. Like, I really couldn't wait to get sentenced and get to my prison, because MDC is like, it's like a county. It's like dead time. You know, you don't leave the unit for nothing unless you're going to medical or you're going on a visit or going to court.
One of the worst things you might have seen at MDC Brooklyn. Any violence?
Just like stabbings, just a lot of fights, like couple stabbings, nothing too crazy. I seen something crazy in Berlin. This dude, and I knew the dude too. He just came. What happened was the dude had just came from Raybrook, right, and landed in the unit, and he was. They were in a room. They were like smoking, just chilling, and he was telling the story about what happened to him at Raybrook, right? And I think he was telling the story. It had to do with these G27s. You familiar with the G27s?
I was in Raybrook when they had the riot over there with the G27s.
Yeah, bro. So the dude was telling the story about like how it had to do with a G27, right? And like how he the dude up or some shit. He was like telling the story how it played out, not realizing that the dude Audi, they call him Audi, was a G27, bro. Right? Like they didn't even realize that that was a G27 when he was talking about it. So what Audi did was they had the microwave in like a room under the stairs, and Audi, I was right there. Audi walked to the microwave room with a bucket of with a bowl of water, like he was gonna boil water or something, and he put the bowl down and just $150 to him right across the face, right there. And but the kid was fighting though. The kid was fighting, like fighting him off, but Addy was like hitting him, you know, a couple more times, whatever. He caught him in the face, nice though, nice $150. And then they were fighting, whoever the kid was trying to hit him maybe a couple more times. But then you could tell like the kid realized what was going on. Like it looked like he was wearing a red shirt. You know that shit, like when it's just soaked red. And then I guess it hit him and he fainted like a little while after it. But the dude's an idiot. He threw the knife in the garbage pail and tried to run off. Like the way they did that was stupid. Like he should have had it planned out a little better. Like I don't know.
No disrespect to people in prison, but you know what? I've ran into a lot of people that were unintelligent, right?
Yeah.
Might be why they're there. But anyway, you know, you end up seeing that. That happens at an FCI. Some people don't realize that, you know, things go down at these medium securities, these even lows, right?
Absolutely.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking when this stuff's going on? Sometimes when there was violent stuff, I hate to say this, but I feel like people get excited, you know, when the guns are going off on the yard and there's always something, it like breaks up the monotony of the day, right? So people like to see violence in prison. What are you thinking when this stuff's going on? Are you tuned in like you're at a UFC fight? I mean, what's going through your mind? What are you thinking? What are you feeling like?
I'll be honest with you, like in when I was in Berlin, the attitude was like more serious. It was like more militant. You got to be on point. Like you got to be on your P's and Q's. It was definitely like a lot more serious atmosphere, like compared to like you know what I mean. Like you gotta wear your boots when you go to the shower, like type shit. Like you're not gonna see people walking around with their shower shoes on in the day room. You know what I mean? Like, and when that bus comes, you see it too. Like it's all gang members. Like you know what I mean, but. You see it when the bus comes, like these dudes are suited and booted, like ready. They don't know who's gonna come off that bus, like one of the enemies, and you see them like with their boots on, tied up, like suited and booted, like ready to go. So yeah, it's definitely like a lot more serious.
You know, we see a lot of prison shows that talk about federal prison. They talk about, you know, cars. What car were you in?
I was always with the Italians, or like a New York car, or like just good white time, like a good white table.
So, you know, with the Italians, something happens to someone in the car. What do you guys do? Do you guys respond?
Yeah, well, and to be honest with you, when I was in Berlin, there was really only me and one other Italian dude from New York, a guy by the name of Joe Savarese. He was basically a captain with the Columbos. He's Teddy Persico's co-defendant. So that table was like a mixed match. It was like a dude from Rhode Island. There was another kid, Italian guy. He's from where was he from? Connecticut, I think. There was a French Canadian. He's in Fort Dix now, but he was on like a kingpin case, from Canada, like moving a lot of weed and shit. So it was just small. It wasn't a big car. It was like maybe like 10 of us. But luckily, it's like high school. You know how that shit is. It's like sometimes like it's like your own people, bro. It's like high school. So it's like a lot of politics you got to deal with, like a lot of bullshit. I learned how to learn the hard way. Coming into the system, it's a lot of like unwritten rules and regulations that you basically have to learn. You know how it is. Nobody tells you the shit. They don't give you a handbook, and tell you like how shit works. You know what I mean? You basically got to learn on your own.
I know earlier you talked about, you've been through some shit in your life. You grew up in Staten Island selling drugs. What was life like for you growing up?
I had issues from a young age, like what I mean, issues with authority. I was always getting in trouble in school, so I definitely had issues. It was written on me from a young age, and I remember like when I was young, I went to eat with like this girl I went to school with, her mother, and like her mother was basically trying to tell me like, I see it in you, like, yo, you're just like my son. She was basically telling me like you're gonna end up in jail, and I think I heard it from a teacher too, like said it like in some way, shape, or form, that basically like I'm gonna end up in prison. So yeah, I was definitely having like issues from a young age, like in school.
Let's talk about your parents. Were both parents in the house?
Yeah, both parents were in the house. My father worked a lot though, two jobs, basically worked 7 days a week, and my mother worked a full-time job too.
So how do you end up getting involved in the criminal lifestyle? I mean, you start selling drugs at a young age. I mean, how do you get involved in that?
Just from the neighborhood I grew up in. Just I grew up like basically a half a block from the park. And you know what I mean? From a young age, I remember we're hanging out in the park. And my brother was 7 years older than me, and my sister was 3 years older than me. So I basically knew those generations too in the neighborhood. Like all the people that were friends with my brother knew me in the neighborhood, and the people 3 years older than me too. Like I knew that whole group too. And yeah, like shit was crazy, bro. Like, and it wasn't like the parks now. Like, everybody was out in the street, bro, like getting into mischief. Bro, the corner store, literally 2 blocks from my house, sold M80s for 50 cents and blockbusters for $1. Or it was like M80s for 50 cents, blockbusters for 75 cents with the waterproof wicks. So, you know what I mean? We were like just getting into mischief, like just doing crazy shit.
Eventually you get arrested, obviously, by the feds. What do you get arrested for?
They charged me, when they finally got me, the feds grabbed me with conspiracy to buy and distribute 5 kilos of cocaine.
So let's talk about that world a little bit, right? I know you're also maybe involved in selling pills, all of that. You're out there getting a couple dollars. What was life like for you when you're making money?
Oh, it was sweet, bro. I'll be honest with you. It was sweet. And I knew it wasn't going to last. You know what I mean? But I had a nice little run. But I wish I could do it over again. I'll be honest with you. But yeah, I had a nice run, man. It was sweet. There was an epidemic out here. I'm sure by you too with those pills. I seen it all. I seen it when you were able to doctor shop. You could literally go to this doctor today, get a script for 180, and go across the street and get another script for 180. So and I see it when they changed the law. Then they made that system called the iStop, where they could see where you go when you filled the last script. But even then, it didn't stop. Then we just, we started sending random people I would go to customers, bro, and be like, "You want to make $1,000 in one day?" And they'd be like what? Like, well, what I got to do? Just give me information. I'm gonna make an appointment for you. I'll pay for the visit. I'm gonna take you to fill the script, and when I drop you off, I'm gonna give you $1,000. I'm gonna take the pills. Like, it was that easy, bro.
So you just pay them $1,000 and they're like, yeah, hell yeah, use my information.
Yeah, they're like, what? Like, look at me, like, well, who I gotta rob, like, type shit. But believe it or not, a lot of my customers were all good people. Like the people that I knew for years. Like either I grew up with them or like I knew them. Like my friend's sister, like one was like my friend's older sister. Lady was like 40 something years old. Another guy I got in was like he owned a fucking car wash in a deli. You know what I mean? Like the guy was an older guy. But yeah, it was that easy. It was really that easy.
So you pay $1,000 for this script. How much money are you making off it?
At that point, I was getting 180. Let's just say conservatively, you get $20 a pill. That's 3,600. Basically, right? Yeah. So basically,
how long does it take you to bust that off? How long does it take you to make that?
one phone call. One phone call.
So one phone call, you sell it to someone else at $20 a pill. Boom, it's gone.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, were you putting a couple dollars away?
Of course, yeah, but you know how it goes, bro. Like I wish I could do it over again, man. You know what I mean? I was smart in that I put everything in my daughter's mother's name, so like the feds couldn't take nothing. They tried to take my BMW, but I got it back because it wasn't even in my name. You know what I mean? So they couldn't keep it. But my daughter's mother robbed me, bro. You know what I mean? Like she had my daughter too. But yeah, she robbed me, bro. Don't get me wrong. Like the first year or two, I give it to her. Like whatever I told her to do, she did. Yo, send 1,000 here, send this there, do this, do that. But like little by little, she started like selling my shit, not letting me know. Like I found out shit years later. Like you know what I mean? I left it with 3 cars on the road, jewelry, money, ongoing thing, money coming in, like so much shit. So I really wish I could do it over again, man.
How much time do you end up?
Came up to nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about that. How much time do you end up getting sentenced to?
I got 70 months. I signed for 70 to 87 months, and I basically did 70 months, bro. They took all my good time, pretty much. They took my halfway house, everything,
Why'd they take your good time in your halfway house?
because I ended up catching an assault on staff in Loretto, and it was just like it was like a domino effect. It was like what a nightmare. It's like such a long story, but yeah, it was like a domino effect.
Let's talk about that. You catch an assault on staff. What happens?
They try to case me up. So they send it out to the AUSA and shit. And luckily, they kicked it back. And then I ended up getting the shot, you know, after the investigation was over with. But they could just leave you on the shelf, basically. Like, it drags it along, bro.
No, we're going to talk. Hold on, Sal. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm talking about what happened with the assault. You punch the cop punches you, you wrestle the cop. What happened?
Yeah. You try to come in the. It was. He was crazy. He came right in the shower, bro, and opened the thing and was trying to throw me out in. It started when I was in the cell with my cellie, right? And I ain't gonna lie, I had a couple ID cards or deuce, bro. And this dude was having Eps in the cell with me, bro. Like it was just making shit hot. So the shit kept happening, and they cuffed me and pulled me out and put me in the shower. And then, well, before they did that, they left me outside, bro, with no jacket for like an hour, bro. An hour or two, I was freezing, bro. Right, just out of spite. So then when they brought me back in, they put me back in the shower, and he's like, "Oh, I'll put you back outside or something." I'm like, "Nah, I ain't going outside." He's like, "Cuff up." Yo, I wouldn't cuff up, and the dude opened the door, bro, and came in there and tried to hem me up. You know what I mean? So I was basically just defending myself. But you know, like if any time an officer has to go to the hospital or anything, it's an assault on staff.
100%. What did you actually do to him? Allegedly.
I was yoking him out. I was choking him out, and then the other dudes grabbed me. They beat the shit out of me. But before they ended, the other dudes came in and had me up. I was basically yoking him out.
So the cops run in on you. They're beating on you, punching you, kicking you. Tell the people what it's like in federal prison.
Oh, God, yo, I will say this, bro. In Pennsylvania prison, yo, the COs don't play, bro. They'll kill you, bro. I've heard stories and I've seen them do it, bro. They'll literally cuff you up and kick you down a flight of stairs, bro. I had it happen to me in USP Canaan, bro. They cuffed me up. A lieutenant, bro. A 6'8" lieutenant cuffed me up. And I thought I was going, they were bringing me to medical or some shit, bro. They literally pushed me in a room and the dude started choking me out, bro, while I was cuffed up.
Well, why do they do that to you in Canaan? I mean, do they just do it?
I got a mouth on me, bro, and I was already coming from the assault on staff in Loretto, and once that was on my jacket, like they were really with me bad, the cops. So what happened was I used to take medication to help me sleep. So when I was in USP Canaan, I got stuck there in transit, and with the whole COVID shit, I ended up never leaving there, bro. So they had us in a unit where we were just coming out for like an hour a day to use the shower, take a shower, and use the phone. But I ended up beating up my cellie, so they put me to the shoe, and I ended up doing like 6 months basically in the shoe in USP Canaan. So they couldn't sell me with nobody, so I had to sell by myself in the shoe. So the medication I was taking used to make me drowsy. So by the time they would do 9 o'clock count, I'd be sleeping. So it happened like one night, the dude was banging on the door, you know what I mean? And I was going, I fell asleep, I'm sorry, I stood up. And then the next day, the dude took my mattress, bro. The motherfucker took my mattress, bro. Like to be a dick. And I had words with him. the dude. I was like, yeah, I was like, that's why your wife is outside sucking some other dude's cock. I was like, and he's buying all the shit that you can't afford, you cocksucker. Yo, I got him out to me, bro. I was talking crazy to him, right? I'm like, yeah, you. But yeah, that's why your wife got somebody else's cock in her mouth right now. Like abusing him, right? And he's like, eh, nodded his head. And then like the next day, the big lieutenant dude came and grabbed me and basically threw me in the room and had me up. Like, what the is your problem? What the fuck is your... You know what I mean? Like, yo, they don't play, bro. They put hits on dudes. There was one dude that broke the phone on the unit. The cops lined him up, bro. They told the dude, they're like, yo, we're gonna put you in the cell with somebody, right? We want you to them up. We're gonna cuff you first. As soon as we cuff you, just them up. The dude did it for coffee, bro. And them dudes would call him a rat on the range too. Like, yo, you did that shit for the cops. You working for the police. I heard the whole thing, bro. You hear it. You get in the cell, you cuff up. Da da. Like I heard the whole thing, bro. And the dude them up, bro.
So the cops give this other inmate, this prisoner, they give him some coffee and say, hey, I want you to, dust this kid off. We're going to put him in there. You're going to be his cellie. As soon as he gets in there, just put the beats on this dude.
Yup.
Sal, I want to ask you this, right? Because I want people to understand what this feels like. You're handcuffed. The lieutenant grabs you, hems you up. The cops are beating on you. What does it feel like, man, when you're handcuffed and you can't really fight back?
You feel like helpless, bro. It's crazy. It's like so up. It's like, come on, bro. They literally got the biggest lieutenant. I'll never forget his name. Fitzgerald was his name. I'll never forget that mother. Yo, like, come on, you grab the biggest lieutenant, and while I'm cuffed up, like, oh, come on, at least like throw hands or something. Like, come on, believe me, I'm not the toughest dude, bro, but I showed up to every fight I've ever been in. You know what I mean? My attendance is impeccable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not scared of nobody. So yeah, it was like, come on, bro. And I heard some stories, bro. You know what happened in USP Canaan when they killed the cop, bro. I heard that story several times, bro, like from people that were there. And like shit, it's like inmate.com. But like I heard it so many times that there's like a lot of similarities in some of them. But basically, from what I heard, and I believe it, bro, because they're racist. That's one thing about them PA dudes. They're racist, bro, them guys. And what happened was I heard that the white cops, the COs were mad at the white dudes on the unit because nobody hit the button. Because the dude caught the guy on the stairs. It was over a radio, too. If you have any extra shit, they could take it. The dude had like an extra radio or some shit. And the dude took his radio with him. So it was a cell search. And that's why you got to wait for him to yell clear now, if you notice. If you were in the feds, at one point, as soon as they unlocked the door, you used to be able to come out. And I remember the top used to come out, and then it goes to the bottom. Now they changed it to where you have to wait when they unlock the door. Let him do everybody, and he yells clear. And that's because of that incident, bro, because he unlocked the top range, and the dude got him on the stairs on the way down. And when he got him, he hit him in the neck, but nobody ever hit the deuces, and the guy's thing never went off. So he went back to the body, bro, and started like with the body. Went in the dude's pocket, took gum out of his pocket, chewed a piece of gum. I already like went and washed the blood off, took a shower, came back, and he started with the body. He was trying to take the dude's head off, bro. He was like with the body, trying to saw the dude's head off. So the white COs were mad at the white dudes for not hitting the deuces. Now, if you've been in the pens, and I had to learn this the hard way a little bit, bro. You're not allowed to hit the deuces for nothing, bro, in the pens. You know that, right?
Of course I know that. Of course I know.
Yeah, like even if like your cell is flooded and shit, like you can't hit the deuces for nothing. So they were mad at the white dudes for not hitting the deuces. And from what I heard, the reason why that happened too, the dude who was watching the cameras fell asleep, bro. He was sleeping behind the cameras. And this is a true story too, bro. A couple weeks later, they found that dude dead in the parking lot, bro. And I'm not so sure that it was a suicide, bro. You know what I'm saying?
You never know. But you know what, man? You're out of prison now, right? I mean, look, It's not always easy, man. What are your plans now that you're out? What are you going to do? No more selling drugs. I mean, life is real now. What do you do?
I work in the financial industry, bro. I do business loans. And I'll be honest with you, I lucked out, bro. Like, I basically did almost a year in solitary, pretty much, before I got released. So it's not like I had a chance to like set things up. I didn't even have my phone for that last year because they took my phone for a cell phone shot. But yeah, it was tough, just coming out like that, basically to nothing, bro. And not even in a house. I basically got released to a couch, bro. No halfway house, nothing. And luckily, I went to the gym. I was in shape at the time. I went to the gym right away, and I ran into a friend of mine that was doing business loans. And like literally that second day, like he's like, "Yo, come to the office, bro." And I had already had it in my mind because I seen it on TV and shit. It was like a new industry that I sort of knew about too before I went away. So I had already like wanted to get into that already, and it just worked out.
Happy to be out of prison?
Absolutely, bro. I'm blessed, bro. I really am blessed. I even today, bro. Like I'm sitting on the porch. It's like a nice, breezy day, bro. I'm blessed. I'm able to work from home. My girlfriend's not feeling too well. You know, I'm able to. I'm at the point where I could work from home if I choose to. You know, so yeah, I'm definitely blessed, bro.
Living your best life.
Absolutely, bro. And I seen a little bit of your story, bro. You have a remarkable story too, bro. God bless you. I know that you just had twins, or is your girl still pregnant?
Oh, I got twins. They're 3.5 years old.
Wow, God bless you, bro. God bless you.
Appreciate you. So look, man, before we get ready to go, I definitely appreciate you coming on, sharing your story. Anything you want to say before we go, Sal?
Nah, bro. Just I respect what you're doing. I had opportunities to go on some other platforms. You know, after I did the thing with Jeff on the sit down, but this is new to me, and I seen some of your stuff. You know, on YouTube, and I respect what you're doing, bro. You're basically getting dudes out of prison, and I want to see every good man go home, bro. As long as you're not up in any way, you know, not a chomo or you never didn't tell nobody. I want to see every good man come home, bro. For real.
Well, listen, man, definitely appreciate you coming on. But tell people if you like this story, we got more coming at you. We've been missing in action for a few weeks, but we're back at you. Blood on the Razor Wire TV with respect. Until tomorrow, we're out.